I'm Amanda.
I'm KG.
And I'm Natalie. Welcome to the Stride Sisters podcast. On today's episode, it's time to celebrate victories, both with Springtime Surprise Weekend 2026 and Miles Madness 2026. Amanda from Once Upon a Marathon and KG from Living the KG Life round out the epic conclusion and crown this year's bracket champion. So, lace up your shoes and step into the magic with us. Hello, everybody. Coming at you on a Thursday drop, which is a little different. And I'll just cut to the chase. There's a reason for it, and it's because I ended up at Springtime Surprise Weekend. Surprise! I am going to talk a little bit about how all of that happened. When we have recap episodes, I want to focus on the runners that I'm going to have on, so I'll get into that a little bit here. But surprise! Hence the delay. This is Wednesday night that I'm recording, do not sound like a banshee, and I'm out of banshee mode in terms of my voice. It still cracks out a little bit, so we'll see how this goes. But anyway, I made the decision to come down for springtime a little over a week out and figured that, it was right before I was leaving for a different trip. Mr. Natalie and I actually went to a wedding in Virginia. So I had two back-to-back travel weekends. And we went to a wedding in Virginia. I booked flights right around then and decided it was going to be a surprise for all my friends and that very, very, very few people were going to know that I was going to be there, and executed a surprise. So I flew in on Thursday on Expo Day. Technically, I landed after midnight into Friday, so on to 5K day. But I was on a little day trip out to my company plant and used that as a way to throw people off my scent in terms of flying down. So I turned off my location so that no one knew where I was, and I just blamed it on bad cell service, which does happen when I'm out there because it's somewhat out west in Nebraska. And flew down I knew that once I was past bedtime that my friend, people who I knew were running would be asleep, or they should have been. So I was in the clear. I figured I would have Wi-Fi on my flights, so I wasn't offline, quote unquote, for too long. And got to my hotel 1:15 in the morning. And I actually was super duper lucky with my travel in that I got on standby. So after losing the standby game on Sunday, flying back from Virginia, I won the standby game when I was going through Atlanta and did get on standby for an earlier flight, which I was super grateful for because that meant I could nap longer. And took a quick nap I woke up around 5:15, 5:30. Then I had another friend, one of my friends, Jamie, pick me up because she did sniff me out enough because I was getting last minute bibs sent to me, and I kind of knew a little too much about what the process was to acquire one of them. So she sniffed me out. I was like, fine, okay, yeah, I'm going to be there. So it worked out because then she was able to come pick me up and pick me up from my resort. We got to the reunion lot. My location's still off. She was one of the ones that I also was worried about, actually being able to trick, and obviously intuition, because she figured that I was absolutely going to be there. And get to the reunion lot and execute a surprise attack on some of our friends. where in the cider line, it was like, oh, we want you to see someone. And then it's me, I pop out. Then as people are kind of getting to like getting to the areas, I'm kind of sending like sly messages of like my friend Amanda. I sent a message that was like, oh, there's like a character at Saratoga because that's where I was staying and that's where she was staying as well. I was like meeting me. She's like, I didn't see anything this morning. I'm like, oh no. But then I did catch her in the reunion lot, which was great. But she had already had it spoiled because somebody else was like, hey, I just saw Natalie. But yeah, it was amazing to surprise people. The number of people who were like, hey, I totally saw someone who looked like you. And then I snitched on myself at that point and I was like, yeah, it is me. It was so much fun. I had so much fun cheering as well. Like an unbelievable amount of fun was had just cheering the race. And I'm going to be honest with you, I expected to have like mad FOMO as like I was seeing like what characters were out on course. That's when I got like a little bit of FOMO, like, oh yeah, I'm not out there. Seeing like the poo medals where I had some FOMO too. But other than that, I really didn't like at all. I was perfectly content where I was because it was one of those, this is where I'm meant to be situations. And again, I had so much fun. I went full Banshee, squeaking, cheering because I cheered pretty much the whole 10 miler on Sunday, which was awesome. And it was so rewarding and great and just good to be there. And, even if I wasn't participating in all the races, because I was participated in none of them. I didn't do yoga either. So it was just so completely spectator mode run dizzy. And it was like when people would be like, oh, congrats. I'm like, oh, I was just cheering this weekend. Like I clarified. And like, if I was with any of the people I knew who were running, I pointed out, I'm like, but they did all of them, or they did the 10K or they did the 10 miler. So I like made sure to like kind of amplify those around me, but it was so much fun. I had so much fun this weekend. Totally rewarding, totally great to just come down. I mean, pulling off the surprise was amazing where the people who were like, oh my gosh, you're here. Like friends, like the hugs I got from people, the DMs of like, oh, I need to find you now. Again, so rewarding. So much fun. I just heard, I don't know if you guys can hear it, but I definitely just heard the little like hoarseness in my voice. I did spectate the first finishers, which is so cool. I've never seen that before. I've never also seen the start line before from not running across it. So that was awesome. But I was able to see the first push rim hand cycle and male female, or both male female, all the runners come in, which was amazing. But I was at mile like 9.1-ish on the 10 miler course, and the number of like surprise character stops that I just had so much fun. We were near the people who had the Team Force signs. So we were kind of like matching each other's energy with my friend Kat, my friend Lindsay, and I all like kind of matching I was again Banshee mode, but we were matching each other's energy, just like hooping and hollering. And when I saw someone I knew, I absolutely like cheered for them like by name. And then like some people I was able to get some good video of like kind of coming down that stretch because it's the last stretch before you go backstage. And then, you're in your last mile of the 10 miler, and it was toasty. I do feel like the runners were given a gift in that it was toasty, but overcast. So I like to say it was another little gift from Jeff. I did see a cardinal also on Saturday. So I saw a cardinal near the pool at Saratoga. And I felt like, again, that was just a little Jeff gift of cloud coverage because it got hot on Sunday. It was so fun. So much fun. And again, I got to be there and hug my people and make some new friends and just see people and be and just laugh. And, it's something that I always like to say like I needed. But it was really, really uplifting. And honestly, the perfect way to cap off the season. Like springtime is just a vibe. And it was an amazing way to cap that off. It's like doing things that are different is what I'll say. It was just a little bit of reflection because I want to give the floor to guests to talk about who actually participated in the races. But it was a little bit, a season of things that were different. Like the most last minute bibs like I've ever gotten happened this season. This This was the season we lost Jeff. This was the season that I did a half marathon DLS. I ran 2 marathons in 3 months. This was the season that I experienced what it was like to go for a goal and not hit it. I've had that in swimming before, but like in my running career, when I have gone like bongo, like to the wall, like I pretty much I've gotten that goal I've wanted. And I mean, I know how to handle that of all the things and all the adversities and whatnot. It's not like nearly along the other levels of things that I had to go through, but I did experience what that kind of a setback went for. And, so again, a season of things that are different than they were, and new experiences and a whole lot of laughter, I'll say. Tears, but also laughter. I couldn't think of any better way to kind of do that, but giving that energy back. So if you missed me, I'm sorry. If you thought you saw me from across the reunion lot, went, no, that can't be her. She's not here this weekend. And then now are finding out that I was at springtime. I'm sorry. I really wasn't. I mean, I was on my phone, but not like a ton on my phone. Like I just was vibing and living in the moment and enjoying the company, the people that I came down and surprised, like my friends who were coming from, who work in medical, who then were kind of coming up and were like, I think that's her. No, it's not. She's not here. No, I think that's her. It was great. It was great. Definitely suggest a surprise thing. I don't think I'm ever going to be able to pull one off again because they're going to be on to me. As well as my other friends, Jamie and MB, who helped me with the surprise. I'm pretty sure that I will never get away with any kind of a surprise trip like that again, or I'm going to have to get really crafty in how I do it. So, long story long, just keeping it brief here. That is why I am releasing a little later. And it's almost like Rise and Run and I did a swap because they released early this week because they were going on the cruise. So, yep, that's why I'm a little delayed. So, I know that I have some potential blister brigades coming on in. I'm going to save those for next week, though, to get recombobulated. So I'm going to go into countdowns, which I had to, again, modify because I had written the outline as if this came out on Tuesday. We have 182 days until Wine and Dine Half Marathon Weekend 2026. Your proof of time deadline is on June 1st. We have 258 days until Marathon Weekend 2027. Proof of time deadline is on August 8th. As well as our shirt deadline is June 14th. So she's coming. 308 days until Princess Half Marathon Weekend 2027. Club Run Disney registration is just about a month away on May 26th of 2026, with general registration following 1 week after on June 2nd. No idea about the POT deadline yet. We probably are due for information soonish, though, which is exciting about Princess. And we have 357 days until Springtime Surprise Weekend 2027. Our Club Run Disney registration is on June 30th, with general registration following, though, on July 7th. So just because it's over doesn't mean we can't be looking forward to the next one. In terms of Club Run Disney, if you are Platinum, you are in your renewal week. So goes until Monday, April 27th. Gold renewals start on April 28th and run through May the 4th. Which is next week. Silver renewals will go from May 5th until May 11th. And then general registration with whatever inventory is left is on May the 12th. Now, if you are a gold looking to upgrade to platinum, I would be up on and ready like ASAP. On Tuesday, around, usually they drop that at 10 a.m. Eastern time. If you're a gold who's just looking to renew at your current level, no need to rush. They let you, that's part of the perk of Club Run Disney, is that you stay at your current, you have the opportunity to renew earlier at your current level. Silver as well, if you are looking to upgrade to gold, I would be up and at 'em on May 5th at 10 a.m. We'll see after next week a little bit more about how the Club Run Disney registration goes for platinums, or for if they're like how fast it goes for golds, if there's any of it platinum available. I'd imagine it's going to go similarly to years past, where if you're a gold looking to upgrade to platinum, you're probably going to have to be on, and it'll probably be gone quickly. But who knows? On to our Disney news segment. We got Muppety news, which makes me so happy. Rock and Roller Coaster starring the Muppets is going to open at Disney's Hollywood Studios on May 26th. We got the entirety of the set list for Rock and Roller Coaster starring the Muppets on April 16th. And we have Song 2, which is by the Electric Mayhem. Born to be Wild, which is the Electric Mayhem featuring Camilla the Chicken. Love Roller Coaster, which is the Electric Mayhem featuring Jennifer Hudson and Questlove. Rock Rock Till You Drop with the Electric Mayhem featuring Def Leppard. Iconic when Def Leppard is like the second. And finally, Walking on Sunshine, which is the Electric Mayhem featuring Kelly Clarkson. Now, I am so excited for this to open. And there are going to be previews for cast members, eligible DVC members, and APs. And it's going to be great. Going to get our first ever audio animatronic of Scooter with audio engineers of all Penguins. And I don't know. I'm so excited. It was a long year sans Muppets in the parks. It's gonna be so fantastic, and I can't wait to we weren't without our Rock and Roller Coaster all that long, which is great. Now we also got some DVC related news for Lakeshore Lodge. It says from the South Shores of Bay Lake at Walt Disney World Resort. It's going to open in summer of 2027. Going to celebrate the beauty and magic of nature as seen through the eyes of Disney artists and storytellers. It's almost 1,000 thoughtfully designed rooms. And we're going to get some more information about the dining locations, recreational offerings, amenities, and distinctive design details. So just for context, this isn't going to be all that far from like Wilderness Lodge, Fort Wilderness. So if you've seen that construction going on, that would be what we're talking about. Exciting. And finally, this isn't necessarily news, but it occurs very early next week, is that we're getting our expansion of the timeline in Galaxy's Edge at Disneyland starting on April 29th. And we did get a preview of what our new characters are. So we're going to see Leia and Han Solo, as well as Luke Skywalker. I'm the most excited, honestly, for John Williams music that'll occur throughout Galaxy's Edge, which will have themes from the first 6 films. So we're going to see just really an expansion of the timeline back into where the original trilogy was. Hashtag bring in Jar Jar. I'm sorry, I want Jar Jar. I don't know about you, but I think it's time for a fun fact. I'm going to give you the fun fact that I had picked out for our Tuesday release, and then also another one that I found interesting that goes along with today's release. So on April 21st of 1965, the New York World's Fair opens for its second season. And this is where we saw attractions such as It's a Small World, Carousel of Progress, Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln, and the Magic Skyway. That later 3 of the 4 made it into the Disney parks. Pretty cool. But on this day in 1928, Shirley Jane Temple is born. Shirley Temple is the popular child star who presented Walt Disney with special Oscars for the Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs. So it was 7 little dwarves coming after the Oscar. She was born in Santa Monica, California. She was a famous child actress. She had a little bit more of a Disney story though, taking part in the 1957 Disneyland dedication, and then was on the board of directors for some really large companies such as the Walt Disney Company. She also helped secure Del Monte as a sponsor of the Diamond Horseshoe Revue at Walt Disney World's Magic Kingdom. I actually didn't know a good amount about her work as an adult. I remember her as a little child star, but I actually didn't know all that much about her involvement with the Disney Company as an adult. Okay, on to the main show. I'm going to go through a little bit of a stat analysis here on the bracket. I'm going to drag this out one more week in terms of revealing who the winner is. I know you know, but I'm not telling the truth. So some of the interludes that I had, I wanted to explain those first before I go into a stat analysis. So some of just the more random endings to the episodes where I was collecting data from our discussions, and they were kind of some good places to refresh and just kind of good vibes. And it's interesting because Amanda has not been on the show proper yet. So in terms of like having her just, if you don't follow Amanda, she's freaking phenomenal. KG is also freaking phenomenal. Love her and love them both. But I haven't had Amanda on the show proper. So I felt like kind of introducing you to her like personality. And it was just organic of like asking Amanda about her HOA because she's gone on deep dives on her Instagram stories about that before. On just like, they are just disaster preppers and it's the best. Amanda goes on deep dives about a lot of things. So again, great follow. Great information, like just read Disney in general information, like, but it kind of was a good introduction, like a little like tease introduction to her personality. I will have her on at some point to kind of do like, again, an episode proper of like all things Amanda, in which case I'm sure we will like speculate, spiral, and kind of go down a rabbit hole of something small. And then we'll just have to have her on again. It's great. Anyway, going to tease what my top 3 brackets were heading into the round of the Elite 8 into the champ in no particular order, in which case I mean that you guys will know what order you're in if you're keeping score at home. But we have Michelle, Christine, and Maz as our top 3 brackets going into the final round. Of like all the participants, again, I am so flabbergasted and bamboozled at the number of people who sent me brackets this year. It was amazing. I am so excited. I'm so happy to have people participating and who actually do want to know what is Animatronic Supreme, which we'll find out this week. I think I've chatted enough. I think we got to get on with the show. So how about we do it? So I'm going to stall for a second because I have to fill in the Elite 8 bracket. And stat-wise, this is very interesting. Partly because for how many Epcot animatronics, I don't think we have any Epcot representation, which this is interesting. This is kind of like how the marathon weekend, I think, was eliminated last year before the Final Four. It's just surprising that for people who, I don't know, for how strong of a hitter Epcot was, I am Batman. I'm in the darkness. Just doing my last little stats. Yeah, we have absolutely nothing from Epcot made it to the Elite 8.
Wild.
Our biggest rep, Left Coast. 3 from DCA, plus 2 exclusive, 1 Statler and Waldorf and Hollywood Studios, and then 3 from Disneyland. Wild.
Nice. All right, what's our first matchup?
All right. To clinch the Mary Poppins division, we have Spider-Man from Avengers Campus and Rocket Raccoon.
My argument is still true. He is the only one that does what he does. Also, Spider-Man better than Guardians. Not the ride, the movie IP.
Okay.
To clarify. Important clarification, but
yeah.
The Spider-Man movies with Tom Holland are superior for me to the Guardian of the Galaxy series.
Ooh.
I haven't seen the Tom Holland ones because when I still think Spider-Man, I still think Tobey Maguire. I'm being real with you.
Listen, what's it? Peter Quill, right?
Yeah, we don't have Crispy Rat in here.
First of all, he has a very punchable face. But second of all, he is the reason Iron Man is dead, okay? He's the reason he's dead. They were in the second to end right before Endgame, and they've got Thanos, and they're winning, and he just is like, oh my god, I'm all emotional. I'm just gonna start beating this guy in his face because I can't handle it, and literally destroys everything. They should have kicked him out of the Avengers altogether. I don't know why he not only got kept into the family, but additional movies.
And now he walks around the parks.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, long story short, Spider-Man.
Spider-Man it is.
I love that. Any day that I can hate on Peter Quill is a good day, even if I like all of his little people, because he also is the reason that Wanda is not as happy as she could be. I'm just going to fully blame that. It's like the Owen Hunt effect in Grey's Anatomy, where anything I can blame on Owen Hunt, I do blame on Owen Hunt. Yes, was the plane crash really his fault? Only tangentially, but it's his fault. So Owen Hunt, Peter Quill, same thing. So Spider-Man moves on. Into the Sleeping Monk division. Again, funny because we have no Epcot animatronics in the Elite 8. We have the Navi Shaman versus Disco Yeti.
We know it's Disco Yeti.
I don't know. I feel like, here's the thing.
Ooh, I'm
Disco
ready.
Yeti would be moving to the final round if they would fix him. Without fixing Disco Yeti, I'm going to have to take my cortisol levels down and like go hang out with the Navi Shaman.
Here's another argument to be a little rat. Disco Yeti, I feel like, because is the original, well, at least the modern original B mode, right? Disco Yeti is, I think, why we sometimes have the curtain in front of the shaman, because we have to have something so that the ride can still operate. So is there an argument to be said that kind of Disco Yeti discoed so the Navi Shaman could do their Navi Shaman things, run? I think it's still the Navi Shaman because at the end of the day, they made the animatronic fixable and also something so that you could continue, the ride. Although there isn't really much ride to continue if you don't have the Navi Shaman, if I'm being honest with you. It's a chill boat.
All right.
I think it's a Navi Shaman.
There we go.
All right.
Hear that, Disney? You want Disco Yeti to go farther, you're going to need to put some work in.
Exactly. Joe Rohde is probably just like kind of a little like cringe, twitching his neck like, oh, someone brought up the disco again. The Yeti again. In the Big Thunder Mountain Goat division, we have the Pirate's Dog with the Key versus Minecart Dopey.
This is the hardest one for me, but it's still Dopey. I just love the dog, but it's Dopey for me.
Yeah. Dopey for sure. I've even got my little minecart right here.
I love him.
Oh.
I had to get the popcorn bucket. Honestly, probably half the reason I went to go see the new Snow White movie was so I could get the popcorn bucket.
That movie was so... Oh.
I still haven't seen it.
Don't.
It's kind of what I hear that...
There's other... Zootopia 2, fantastic.
Yes.
Stream that instead.
All right.
I feel like I'm gonna end up, because in my mind, the hill I die on is that all of the direct to VHS movies, like the Little Mermaid 2, those don't exist. That is just a Chapek mistake from the 90s that we are going to collectively agree we're not accepting as fans. Okay, whatever the Cinderella Back in Time where she stole the fairy godmother's wand, or Beast not being able to read. This is a wealthy man in a castle that has a library and speaks multiple languages with literally nothing else to do or people to talk to, and he can't read.
He was cursed when he was 12. Of course he should be able to read, other things notwithstanding.
I feel like the live action movies are this generation's direct to VHS, and that there will be a contingent of fans that will be like, you know what, those live actions canonically do not exist. That is my hot Disney take.
One exception.
None.
And this isn't because I was going to say Cinderella because that one was done really beautifully, and I feel like they did at least add to the story
I
a little bit.
understand where you're trying to go with that, but the definitive live action Cinderella is the one with Drew Barrymore, Ever After.
Ooh.
Ooh.
And it's
okay.
It's Disney's fault. Someone else did it first and did it better.
I can accept that. Also, I did enjoy Prince Eric because he always had a personality compared to a lot of the other princes, but they fed us more. And then also they really liked showing his butt in that every time he was singing, it was just how many, homie just did a whole glute workout. So we're going to show it to you.
I didn't like how they kept bringing in the real world. They referenced Spanish ships in the live action for Little Mermaid. And they did it in Asha, which I know is an animation, but they referenced being in, I think, the Mediterranean, but real countries and real time frames.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, this is a fantasy world. I live in a place where Atlantis exists, and this is a magic kingdom. I don't know. I didn't like the regrounding it into real world geography. So
Oh, I can respect that. I think when I saw it, I think that went over my head. So I don't think I caught that quite because I was also probably marveling at Prince Eric.
The amount of times Amanda brings something up and I'm like, that totally went over my head and I missed it. Great point. Is a lot.
Our Phantasmic Dragon division. We have DJ Rex versus Statler and Waldorf.
listen, y'all can go to the theater. I'm still at the bar. Me and DJ Rex are having a great time.
I think this is where I leave Statler and Waldorf.
We surrender.
Yep.
We surrender.
Yep.
It was a good run. But on June 7th of last year, they ruined that for me.
R.I.P.
For now. We're doing a sequel. It's back by popular demand. Come on, everybody, strike at the band. Okay. Time for the final four. So, representation-wise, we did not lose a park here. So we still have, which kind of helps when your solos are represented. They were both DCA, both Animal Kingdom. We have, to round out the animatronic that is only present in one US Disney theme park, Spider-Man versus the Shaman. Both number 5 seeds.
I would like Amanda to go first.
I think it's the Spider-Man. I think it's the Spider-Man for me.
I personally like Spider-Man better because I think I'm more of a Marvel person than an Avatar person.
Yeah, I am too. But also, like, again, he flies across the building.
He's the only one.
Flips. He's the only one that does what he does. He is singular, unique, and his real-world counterpart is Tom Holland. He gets extra points.
A precious gem of a human.
Extra points for that.
So, just a sidebar question. I do agree that it's Spider-Man for me. A sidebar of a question, though. Joe Rohde was involved in the switch over to Mission Breakout, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was.
Was he involved in Avengers Campus too? Or was it just the switch over?
I think it was the switchover happened, I think, before Avengers Campus. I think he retired in early pandemic. I think he was supposed to be part of it and then he retired. But I don't remember. I'm a East Coast girl, so like I don't remember when Avengers Campus was fully built out and done.
21.
I just know that like 2020 hit and he was like, I'm out.
Understandably so. I just am curious if we kind of still are pulling the Joe Rohde thread. We're going to have to reach, stretch before I make that reach, but it's a reach for sure. But are these things that Joe Rohde both touched in a way? And that's why, because I feel like some of the fluidity of the Na'vi shaman made it so Spider-Man can do what Spider-Man does. I keep getting Spider-Man memes, like where like it's like a weird drawing of Spider-Man. Like it's okay. On to our bi-coastal Final Four matchup. We got Minecart Dopey versus DJ Rex.
So Ogus has a 2-drink limit. And
there it is.
And I have been kicked out of the bar. And I'm going to go hang out with my buddy Dopey.
Agreed.
Likewise. It's a kiddie coaster / a dark ride. That's accessible, especially after I've hit my 2-drink limit, which that's when I did. Fun fact, when I do, the way I go the best on Web Slingers is when I'm absolutely cooked from Lamplight Lounge. I come into my car as a single rider with a family. I absolutely smoke everybody and then I leave. And that's just the enigma of how I come into the picture. Absolutely cooked because I've been sitting at Lamplight for too long.
I love it.
Our championship round. DCA versus a little Magic Kingdom Disneyland action. Spider-Man and Avengers Campus versus Minecart Dopey.
This is like your head versus your heart in the final.
Which is like when you choose to do Dopey, it's kind of like your head versus your heart in a way.
I think based on what we're talking about, which is the animatronics.
Yes.
I think Spider-Man wins.
So I was just thinking the same thing because I'm like, Minecart is obviously a better ride. Like you come through the high hose, you see Dopey. If you time it right, there are fireworks when you come out that cave.
Yeah.
But that's the ride experience, not the animatronic. And I think Spider-Man is the winner on the animatronic.
Because he does not have a projection mapped face. Now, I've never had Minecart Dopey ever kind of glitch out.
That we know of.
True, he could be singing, he could have a projection face. Like, there's a lot we can do with this. Dopey, I've never actually had like a glitchy, like, you know, that's like probably the, like, you know, the newer wave of, which is interesting because that's what opened in 2014 versus like the Frozen ones they just redid opened in 2016. Anywho, Dopey's face has never glitched out for me in terms of like, that's not like a takeaway. But he is just only kind of bopping versus Spider-Man is putting on a show. He's flipping, he's topsy-turvy, flipping around. Like, I think it's an easy dub for Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Dopey, it's a respectable way to come into second place in the Natty is a pretty good place to be.
He had a good showing.
Absolutely. Was there anything that kind of surprised you in how you voted throughout the tournament?
I think there were more that I don't want to say I didn't care about, but I wasn't like riding hard for. Like I thought I was going to have some more like, no, this has to be the pick. And so I was like, meh.
Yeah,
sure.
I agree. Like I had my favorites, but
yeah.
I'm surprised at some of the ones I ended up voting against at times. Because when, you know, obviously I was the seeder, so like there's some of my bias that's inherent in here, but we had a 5 seed win, everybody. We were a 5 seed and a 7 seed, okay? But there are certain things that like I like seeded high and then I was like, no, I'm good. We're good. And voted against. I think one of the most surprising things is always when people are split on DCA. So I guess I'm going to ask both of you this. I think DCA is a criminally underrated park. I love DCA. Also, I mean, it helps when Lamplight. Okay, so DCA is to me what like Animal Kingdom is to me, and like I love the park. I love the heavy hitters in there, but there's also a bar in there I really, really like and will spend a lot of time at. Nomad, Lamplight.
So interesting because I was like, so I love DCA. I think DCA is like a whole vibe. Like, loved it even more than I thought I would. It's definitely a top park for me. But I felt like DCA, California in general, but DCA had better food, but way worse drinks. And I did Lamplight Lounge, and I was like, this is nowhere near Nomads. It's a lot of juice and kind of sweet, whereas Nomads, I was like, you have more like spirit forward and craft cocktails and interesting combinations at Nomads. But I think overall, in general, I'm like, well, it is a California themed theme park and like I should probably be getting wine. And then the wine bar place was great. So it worked out.
Which side of Lamplight did you go to? Were you the boardwalk dining or were you like downstairs or upstairs?
Upstairs.
Okay. I have only done upstairs once. I've always otherwise because I usually do a walk up and then end up at the bar. And because also I feel like you can only get the lobster nachos upstairs versus you used to be able to get them downstairs, but you can't anymore.
We did the lobster nachos. They were okay. I don't know. Lamplight did not live up to the hype for me across the board, but DCA cleared it. DCA was really, really cool. I liked it a lot. And I'm excited that they are expanding Avengers Campus because I feel like we keep getting these small little vignette parks with like 2 rides in them. Even if it's something like Batu where it's physically a little larger, it's still kind of a small two parks or 2 rides. Toy Story is basically 2-3 rides, right? But a small area. And I'm like glad to see that they're going back to something that they've built and expanding upon it. So instead of leaving Avengers Campus as this kind of small area, they're pushing back and expanding it and leaning into what they built there. And I hope that continues in general. I'd like to see more of that at Disney.
Use them expansion pads that they have because that remember like there's an expansion pad for Avatar in Animal Kingdom. There's an expansion pad for a 3rd ride for I think it's both coasts for Galaxy's Edge. So it's like okay, like so I really like that idea. Also, I am captain of the more Wanda is better train. So I need her because I was told that Wanda is a kind of not a backup walk around character, but kind of she's not a regular walk around character. Because when I missed her during the 10K, this is my villain origin story. Missed her during the 10K in January. Didn't do the 5K in September because my bib was so last minute in the first place. My villain origin story is that I still haven't gotten Wanda. Now I did get Agatha, which was pretty sweet. She's so rare that I was happy with that, but I was a little heartbroken. No Wanda. Now, if we have more opportunity for Wanda to be lurking somewhere, that is better in my eyes.
I ran as Wanda, so yeah.
I love it.
Same. The bib that shouldn't have happened from Disneyland. But yeah, I really like that. I love DCA. Because also, I mean, it was the first time I had seen World of Color in years when I saw it after the races back in January. Well, I guess it was the half was on February 1. But oh man, did that like hit. It's World of Color Happiness is what's still going on, but man, that's like I just like still like kind of chills. I mean Disneyland and their nighttime entertainment, though I feel like, well, they don't really do fireworks all the time. The other entertainment they have is absolutely fantastic, if you will.
Love it.
Okay. Anything else you want to kind of discuss from the bracketology before we wrap things up?
I think we did some good work here.
Me too. And I'm proud that we didn't just pick Dobie because we love Dobie.
I agree with that.
We made sound decisions.
We made sound decisions. I'm curious if they'll ever make another Spider-Man animatronic, but like somebody else. Like a not Marvel version of Spider-Man, like a different IP. Now that they have the technology.
One that I think would be interesting, but would also be so controversial that it would be dramatic, is if they replaced the live Tink at the end of Happily Ever After with an animatronic.
No.
I don't think they ever could. I would be
cannot
devastated.
be putting that into the universe, ma'am. Some things you've got to like. Oh.
But like, where else? Like, who else would be another flying around character? Like, I would be devastated, and I will probably riot if it happens. But I don't know what else they would do.
You're talking the zip line.
Yeah,
the lady that like jumps off the castle. Yeah. So I did the Keys to the Kingdom tour over the summer, and they were, first of all, it was a lot of fun. But they were talking about Tinkerbell, and one of the friends with Tinkerbell, I should say, she started it way back in the day, whenever she started it, and she is in her 60s and still doing it. And I'm like, that is my retirement job. I want to retire and be Tinkerbell and jump off the castle. Yes. I think I'm too tall, but I'm like, talk about like goals.
And I've heard also that sometimes it's a man because of like how hard the impact is when they come down.
When they hit the, maybe, I don't know. Yeah. They didn't mention
I don't know if that's true, but that's I've heard.
I didn't mention that.
But I don't know what other character or like animatronic would be like worth it or like that cool to see.
They might be able to do something with Mando because he flies.
Oh, like Mando would be a great one.
I think Maleficent in Villain's Land.
Huh?
Ooh,
they could do something in Villain's Land. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I guess Peter Pan. He could too.
Oh, right? Peter Pan would be, and Peter Pan would have a similar like flight pattern and
Yep, and kind of like flips and whatnot.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think there's other IP they could do. I really do. I think they could find it. I'm sure it's a very expensive animatronic though.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of different, like one for every park almost. But I also can't think of one specific.
I guess they could do something in Pandora, right?
Oh.
Some kind of...
No, Indiana Jones.
Oh, yes.
Indy.
His little
And
when they're putting him in the tropics of America, they're redoing and making an Indiana Jones ride, and you could have him like swinging through and climbing, and then at one point he's got to jump from the temple Like Indiana
Yep.
Jones would be
Indy
a good
would
one.
be a great one.
Yep.
I love that.
See, so Amanda should just be in charge.
True.
Run Disney,
Just
park experiences.
But we talked
She's
about
got
it.
my
Like,
vote.
I'm very good at spending money. I'm the
Yeah.
idea person. Don't be coming at me with like budgets and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just telling you what needs to happen. Yeah,
You're like, I already know how much it costs to build it. I did the research already.
exactly. I'm the idea person. Don't be coming at me with like reality and logistics and money. Like,
Yes.
I know what needs to be done. It's somebody
Yep.
else's job to figure out how it's done.
Oh, those bean counters. Whew. Coming in. Who'd want to do that? Well, thank you so much for joining me. I let you guys plug yourselves. Amanda, you can go first of where we find you in case someone forgot.
Oh, yeah. On Instagram, Once Upon a Marathon.
Check out also her website. It's a great resource for all things Run Disney, as well as great training guides, all kinds of chock full of information. If you've ever wanted to spiral about something, also just slide into the DMs.
And me, you can find me also on Instagram at Living the KG Life and my podcast on all the great podcasting platforms. And you can hear from both of these two lovely ladies on numerous episodes there as well.
It's like a little time capsule. I love it. Thank you again to both KG and Amanda for joining me on this epic journey to find the very best of the animatronics. This was so much fun. I'm honestly just blown away by the participation that I've had and how much fun it's been. And I love whatever wacky zany idea that comes out of this little brain and this little noggin that kind of gets me through. I don't know. It's been a lot of fun. Maybe I'll be normal next year, but probably not in terms of a more normal bracket. But it's been great. It's been so great. Feel free to follow both Amanda and KG. They're both wonderful, wonderful people in this Run Disney community. And I hope that this helps a little bit with maybe your like post-springtime like sads. I don't know. Maybe I get into that next week with, again, the guests I'm going to have on. And yeah, I think that's an episode. If you enjoyed listening to the show, please leave a review and a 5-star rating. I love reading your reviews out loud. You might even be featured on a future podcast episode. There is a community spotlight on the Instagram at Stride Sisters Podcast. If you want to be featured for a Medal Monday, Finish Line Friday, or any accomplishment you want to celebrate, send a picture via the social media platforms or the email. And to continue the fun, join the Facebook page. All the ways to connect can be found in the show notes. Thanks for listening. Until the next adventure, wishing you endless miles of magic and memories. See you next time.